Rise up, sister, rise to your call. Any day now, apartheid's got to fall. Winnie, Winnie Mandela. Winnie, Winnie Mandela. Winnie, Winnie Mandela. Winnie, Winnie Mandela. They say every man has got his time. Yours is one we behold with pride. We'll be joining you as a warrior. We'll be there, just you meet us at the border. So ride on, sister, ride on high. Reach for victory, reach for the sky. Oh, Winnie, Winnie Mandela. Winnie, Winnie Mandela. Oh, Winnie, Winnie Mandela. Winnie, Winnie Mandela. We say one by one, we are for Africa, one by one. Hey, one by one, we are for Africa, one by one. Come on, one by one, we are for Africa, one by one. One by one, we are for Africa, one by one. So ride on, sister, ride on high. Reach for victory, reach for the sky. Oh, Winnie, Winnie Mandela. Winnie, Winnie Mandela. Say Winnie, Winnie Mandela. Winnie, Winnie Mandela. When you say one by one, we are going Africa, one by one. One by one, we are
Give me some tissue, Tyler. Sometimes it feels cold and you feel all alone, but hold on, better days are coming. It can be rough in this world. I know it ain't easy, but hang on in there,
Good morning, good morning. Good morning. This is the Motivator Show alongside Lady Chelsea. Lady Chelsea, are you
Good
there?
morning. Yeah, I am here. I'm here.
How are
Good
you
morning.
this fine morning? How are
I'm
you?
good. I'm good. Thank you.
Oh,
Okay.
it's a pleasure. And the sun is shining
It
here
is today.
in
Yeah.
London. Can you believe that?
No.
Oh my gosh. Can you believe it? I know you don't, huh? I know you don't. Yeah? Long may it stay that way.
Yeah.
And Lady Chelsea,
Mm-hmm.
I feel good this morning. Yeah?
That's good. That's good.
Oh my gosh.
Ready.
I feel powerful this morning.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Huh?
Energy.
Hey, let
Yeah.
the energy flow. Huh? Let the energy flow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Let the energy flow. Okay, let's begin the show, shall we?
Okay.
Let's begin. First of all, let me give praise to Iron King, as usual.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
put us from night to day. Yeah. Let's
Mm-hmm.
give praise to him, a stalwart who starts his show at around 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and takes us
Wow.
to this show in the morning. Wow. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
He's doing that for years. Let's give praise to Iron King.
Yeah.
But equally important, let's give praise to the Galaxy management, those visionary leaders in the community who ensure that this platform, this radio station, has continued for more than 35 years. I give praise to Chief Bakumbabai, Elder Erakuti, Dr. Man Abu Ratata, never forgetting, of course, Empress Shanice, Nicole, the most royal, one of the longest serving pilots here. And of course, remembering the technicians, remember the engineers who ensure from a technology point of view, we've adapted to the latest technology. So I give praise to the engineers who ensure this show can continue this morning. So I give praise to you all. Thank you. We never forget you. Praise Jah, Rastafari. Okay? Equally important, I also want to recognize the elders who are listening, okay? Those whose sole aim in life, as their time approaches, to ensure that earlier generations can flourish, can achieve, So I want to give praise to the elders, I want to give praise to the elders and say to them, we recognize you. What I want to say, we recognize you, okay, and honor your memories. Praise Jah. Okay, good. I want to get that one out, but of course, not let me get away with it.
Of course not.
Okay. Let me also move forward and remember those other key messages that is so vital in a show such as this one. I want to remember that our health is our wealth. So I want to give these messages again. I want to remind people, those who are listening, and those who are listening both live and the recordings of this program, and reminding those who are listening that this program goes live through Galaxy Radio, galaxyafui.com, okay? And you can find the station via Zeno, that's the app, Zeno Radio. As well as, of course, you can find this particular show via Facebook on the Motivator Show, as well as on YouTube under the Motivator Show. Okay, and I hope those who are listening can spell the Motivator. I'm told I could still spell it.
Okay. Yeah, that's
D, a Motivator, DEMOTIVATOR show. Okay, I'm just doing it just to make sure we presume nothing in life.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So that's the Motivator Show. You can find that title under both Facebook and YouTube. So we'll return to the important health messages because we take nothing for granted. Nothing is taken for granted here.
Yeah.
So I want those who are listening to remember to consider the amount of salts you are ingesting into your body. to consider the amount of sugars you're ingesting into your bodies. I want you to remember to consider the amount of fats you are ingesting. Do you need the additional salt? Do you need the additional fats? Do you need the additional sugars in your diet? Ask yourself that question. And if in doubt, don't listen to me. Go to your doctor or to your nutritionist. Just think about it, okay? And think about the cumulative impact just those three ingredients, salt, sugar, and fat, has on your body over a long period of time. Yeah, that's fair? That's fair?
Yeah, yeah.
Also consider the amount of water that you're drinking each day. I'm told by the experts we should consume at least 2 to 3 liters of water per day. I've got my water here, because we talk a lot here, so you know.
Yeah, you need it.
Yeah. Important. Drink at least 2 or 3 liters of water per day. Okay. But equally as important, of course, it's important to exercise. Okay. I can't admit, Lady Chelsea, that I got the exercise this morning, but I will be doing it later on, I can assure you.
Okay, all right. Cool.
Exercising is important. It keeps your body and mind in good health. Vitally important. If you want to keep all those other maladies at bay, diabetes, hypertension, cardio diseases, keep them at bay. Just consider those excessive ingredients that we take into our diet: sugar, salt, fat, and exercise that we absolutely need. Sedentary lifestyles, that's where we sit down a great deal, like we are about to this evening, this morning. It's not good for the human physiology, for our bodies. So exercise, taking care of the food you intake, is important. So eating more fruits and vegetables is vitally important. Vitally important. Ensuring you have the right amount of minerals, so nuts and other ingredients are vitally important to our bodies. And ensuring that meat should be no more than 5-10%, if that, of our diet. No more than 5 or 10% of our diet. There you go. But I have to say, there are many people listening and find it difficult, but I have to say, I found it hard to adjust as well. You and I are brought up with those poor habits. Okay.
Yeah, me, it's a hard
It's so
one.
important for us to keep reminding each other. Remind each other that we know over a sustained period of time that excessive amount of salt, sugars, and fats are harmful to our bodies. A lack of exercise is harmful to our bodies and mind. And of course, equally important is to uplift our spiritual and mental health. And again, if in doubt, seek professional advice. Do not suffer in silence. And if in doubt, go to the professionals. Don't just take my word for it. Go seek professional advice. Okay. I hope that message has been received by one and all. I hope. Because we must reduce the amount of the numbers of us who suffer from diabetes and hypertension. Essentially, these are lifestyle diseases that can be avoided. Okay. That's why I give out those messages.
Yeah, it's important.
And I want to thank all the normal who keep reminding us it's important. These messages are important.
Yeah, they are.
I don't know. So what's happened to you this week? I was going to refer to previous shows, but what's been happening to you this week, Lady Chelsea?
This week, I don't know, I've just been working a lot. I haven't really been looking at the news, unfortunately.
You've been working too hard, yes. I said that to you earlier.
Oh, well.
You're a hard-working person, an ambitious person. That's why you're here, of course,
Yes, of course.
You are an ambitious person, I can only say respect to you.
Thank you.
I would refer to old previous shows, but I did want to mention this awful latter-day police person in the United States of America who's just been sentenced to prison. Derek Chauvin, that murderer of George Floyd.
Mm.
Not sure 22 years is enough for the trauma he put millions of people through.
It's longer than I thought he would get
Yeah.
though. So
But unfortunately, in that country, not enough policemen who commit
Yeah.
these types of heinous crimes
mm.
are committed to court and ultimately sentenced to prison.
Yeah.
Okay. But those who believe that this sort of thing doesn't happen, it's happened. Yeah, it's happened with determination. We've made sure it has happened. No policeman, in fact, no public servant, should be allowed to commit these types of heinous crimes on the high street in full public.
Yeah.
But I suspect there may be a few in the health sectors as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
You see?
Yeah.
We need to root such savages out of our health sectors. You know, we need to root them out and ensure that they are prosecuted for their heinous crimes. So I can only say, when he was finally sentenced, I didn't jump up and scream or anything like that. I just tut and said, well, hopefully others would have seen and will be now wary of behaving in such a savage manner.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully. I just want to take a few minutes on that because it's important. You know, it's one of those moments, not of joy, but of real sadness, of course. Yeah, real sadness. But anyway, okay. Now, Lady Chelsea, I said I'm not going to. I'm going to also just quickly make a quick mention of the Windrush show we had last week. I went along to the march. I was heartened to meet people who I've been interacting with for months via Zoom. And I want to give a big shout out for Glenda Andrews, Julia Davis, and Anthony Brown, the three leaders of the Preston and Peterborough Windrush campaigns, you know, who were there presenting outside the Home Office and eventually outside of Parliament to highlight the issue of Windrush, those who came here legally, many as British citizens like myself, then had their citizenship taken away, and then found themselves years later, as they approached their retirement, almost stateless. Yeah. Yes, the Prime Minister has apologised. Yes, the Home Secretary has apologised. Yes, they've said they are going to put things right, but the pace of change is too slow. Yeah. And far too many people from the Caribbean are still wary to show their heads and tell the truth of their circumstances. And far too many have been caught up in these webs created by the government and have found themselves destitute. And therefore, the compensation scheme needs to be revised and should operate in a more expeditious manner. Okay, so there should be change. And Anthony, Julia, and Glenda are right there at the front of the arrow, ensuring that change happens. So I want to give a good praise to them, real praise and respect to them. So their determination is remarkable. And all those others who were present were remarkable. Big shout out, of course, to the Global African Congress, who had a banner in support of the Windrush campaign. Of course, the RMT union, who had a banner present as well. So I give a big shout out to you all. Really, really welcome. Yeah, welcome. Yeah. Well done. And we'll keep the pressure up. We will keep the pressure up. Okay, Lady Chelsea, I'm going to hand over to you for the young people section. Now, I'm told that there may well be a number of young people listening this morning. So before you begin, I'm going to give out the telephone number. Because today is going to be one of those important days, because we've got an important project to discuss. Yes. So the number to call, once Lady Chelsea has given out the questions, the number to call is as follows: 0203 481 5245. 40. You're asked to enter a PIN number. The PIN number to enter is 3707334397, followed by the ash sign, the vertical and horizontal symbol on your keypad. I know I say it every time.
It's all right. I understand.
When you say ash, you might mean ash browns or some other.
Oh, well. I might.
Let's give out the number one more time to make sure.
Okay.
The number to call, it's 0203 481 5240. And of course, the PIN number 3707334397. Followed by the ash sign, vertical and horizontal lines. There you go. Over to you, Lady Chelsea.
Yeah, no, so this little section is the competition, and this is to win the book that young Malachi, who came out a couple months ago with his mother, called Tutankhamun, The Tale of the Adventurous Boy King. That is the prize, with the £25 will be a signed copy. So this is for we have two questions. So one question for under 10s and one question for 11 to 16-year-olds. So
nice. Slowly for them, but
I'll do the recording and I'll slowly read it out. Okay, so the first question is for children under 10. Let me just get this volume up. Cool, that should work.
Question 4. What does Kemet mean?
That is, what does Kemet mean? And that question is for under 10s. And the next question is for 11 to 16-year-olds. And that is...
Question 10. At what age did Tutankhamun pass away?
And that is, at what age did Tutankhamun pass away? Sorry. And there's 2 questions.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, those questions are no longer quite so distant for me.
Okay. That's good. Yeah.
I believe I can answer them now.
Yeah, okay, good.
Okay,
Yeah, since people are learning, it's all good.
Yeah. It has been an interesting exercise, I must say. And I've said it before. It reminds us that from our community, we've got to make sure that our children know and remember our history.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, I welcome the call by the likes of Tony Sewell, Dr. Tony Sewell, a guest on the show, who produced what might be considered to be an interesting report of the outcomes, the recommendations, I believe were sound, and he called for Black or African history to be an integral part of the British national curriculum. Okay, and I completely support that call. And Tony, again, we've got to get him back here, really to focus on the campaign to get those recommendations accepted by government and ultimately implemented by government. Okay, and I do want to talk to him about his wonderful organizing, generating genius. He's been managing that initiative for more than 30 years. In fact, for as long as this radio station's been on, he has been managing that initiative.
That is impressive.
So I want to give praise to Dr. Tony Sewell. I know some people won't, but I want to give praise to those recommendations are important recommendations, and that particular recommendation is a particularly important recommendation, although for the Black African Caribbean communities here in Britain, indeed those who support us, okay, it is incumbent upon us to set up cultural places where our children are taught our history.
Without schools.
Vitally important, because the propaganda that they're exposed to, both on radio, indeed, and on the TV, and in some parts of social media, is so wrong, a complete distortion of history, And in some cases almost suggest, in fact, they do suggest that our history started with the transatlantic enslavement of African peoples, which is clearly complete bunkum.
Yeah.
Very polite term.
Okay, never heard that before.
Huh?
But okay.
I'm trying to be polite.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. Rubbish.
Yeah.
If you like, you know.
Yeah.
Even the academics would tell you that clearly that is complete nonsense. Okay?
Yeah, of course.
So Africa remains the cradle of mankind, quite deliberately so. Yeah? Africa remains the cradle of mankind, the cradle of civilization. I say that not to big up myself, but to denote what is clearly historical fact. And from that, therefore, you can then begin to extrapolate the contribution to civilization, to science, mathematics, literature, and so on. Okay, and I think often it's forgotten that for a good millennia or more, invasion into the continent has ensured that many of our manuscripts, many of our artifacts have been destroyed, burnt. Therefore, it created, at least in some of us, amnesia. Amnesia. Unlike if you lived in China, for example, they've been able to keep their historical knowledge and keep it safe from foreign invasion. But in the case of Africa, that didn't happen. And that's part of the amnesia and part of the difficulties that many of our people have in understanding how relationship to other communities, other civilizations across the world, because so much of our history was destroyed. So it's had a profound impact, not only upon Africans, but on the world as well. Can you imagine destroying the cradle of mankind and the civilizations around it? How foolish is that? How foolish is that? Okay. Now, we've not had a call yet, so I will remind parents and young people what the telephone number to call is as follows. 0203 481 5240. And the PIN number to call is as follows. Sorry, PIN number to enter is as follows, which is 3707 33 43. I'll repeat the PIN number. The PIN number to call is 3707 33 4397, followed by the @ sign, the vertical and horizontal lines. Okay. Now then, now I'm going to ask you very quickly, Lady Chelsea, I'm going to give you another minute or two just to repeat those questions, because I'm almost certain the number of parents and young people who should be listening, and I'm sure are keen to respond to.
That's fine. Okay. So again, this first question is for children under 10.
Question 4. What does Kemet mean?
And that is, what does Kemet mean? That's for under 10s. The second question, 11 to 16-year-olds.
Question 10. At what age did Tutankhamun pass away?
And that is, at what age did Tutankhamun pass away?
So Lady Chelsea, are these questions hard?
They were a couple months ago for me. I've been doing it every week. I've been trying to remembering the answers to some of the questions. I've tried to pick the easy ones, but no one's called. So I changed some. Hopefully they're not more difficult. But we'll see.
Okay. It is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've been quite determined, and in some cases we've repeated the questions as well to help people along the way. So you can do do your research, but if you successfully complete the questions, you can earn yourself, young people, £25. I know I didn't say at the beginning, did I? Oh, maybe I should have said that.
I think I did. I did.
Did,
don't worry.
right.
Yeah, I did.
£25, and you'll be given a signed copy of of
The book,
Malachi's
yeah.
book.
Yeah.
Now, maybe I wondered if we should be reciting excerpts from the book. Okay. And I know in the front of the book, do you have it handy there? You got it handy? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to show on the.
Yeah. Oh, there you are.
Part.
So what does the introduction say? What does the introduction say?
Oh.
I'm going to just read the insert, the front of the book. I'm just going to just contact our guest while you do that.
Yeah, I could do like a couple sentences. Okay, the introduction. So my name is Tutankhamun, the Prince of Kemet and the first in the line to throne. I'm 13 years old tomorrow. Happy birthday to me. My deceased mother is, I don't know how to pronounce it, Kyra, whose parents are unknown. My father is Akhenaten, or I'm not sure if I pronounced that right ever, the king of Kemet, the son of, oh my God, Amenhotep and Tai, and the most powerful man around. Shall I continue? If I'm doing it justice, I'll continue. Yes. I also have a stepmother, Nefertari, daughter of A and Te, and the most beautiful one. I lastly have a half brother and 7 half sisters. Oh wow, he names all of them. We worship the Aten, known as the disk of the sun, and originally the aspect of Ra, the sun god. I live with my father and stepmother, who I call mother, and step siblings in a huge palace on the outskirts of Cairo. As a member of the royal family, I have many luxuries, like my very own royal personal refreshments assistant, who I call Roy. What's the point of spending a whole year of your life saying his boring old job? In fact, mum and dad and the palace councillors are the only ones who call him by his job. Such losers. To get me some sweet sugarcane juice when I ever need to wet my gullet, or my giant wiffle waffle milky silky soft serve ice cream machine, which can serve any flavor ice cream you want. I literally mean any single flavor on this earth. I highly recommend chocolate berry flavor. But if I were you, I would save a slug flavor for showering the wake up servant. It's super gross. Hence why she loves it so much. I keep this by my bedside desk. Who wouldn't? According to my father, my role as crown prince is very important for my family and the future of Kemet. So he goes way too hard on me to make sure that Kemet will be in good hands when he passes on. Why do I have to complete all of my training, revision, and studies for the whole week? Just go and play with my siblings. When the twins, who are 1.5, get to do whatever they want, whenever they want. But of course, father says that since I'm the oldest of all my siblings, I need to set an example for them, whatever that means. So I just say, okay, father, and get on with my work. But seriously, if you thought that since I'm the fresh prince of the most advanced kingdom on this side of the universe, I should get the VIP treatment, just know that your myth just got busted. And that is the introduction. But I feel like you're still not ready.
You wrote so well, huh? Hopefully that should help the parents. Really?
Hopefully, I don't know if I did that justice, but because my pronunciation of all the names are quite bad.
Okay, that should help the parents to know that this is a good read for young people. Yeah, it's a good read for young people. I really enjoyed reading it. And I hope that that will help, So I'd hope to receive at least one call. But believe it or not, I had a number of very early morning calls today.
Oh, before the show.
I had no idea. It appeared at least 1 or 2 parents believed we were on an hour or 2 earlier than we are actually. So I expected to hear from them. But now we've given out the questions, I would invite the parents to and the young people to call in. And I'm still receiving messages, but never mind. There you go. Okay, there we go. Anyway, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens this morning. We may only have another 10, 15 minutes. Our guest apparently will be just a few minutes late. Okay. He's is apparently engaging some dignitaries, apparently.
Oh, okay.
And in fact, let's get on to the subject anyway. Whilst parents are, and we've not had our guest hasn't arrived as yet. So why don't we just continue with the, let's get on to the theme of today's show, okay?
Yeah.
So the theme of today's show is the Rapid Africa Plan. Okay? And I'd invite those who are listening to Google or use your search engine to find out about this, okay? It's an important plan, which we all should pay attention to, okay? Why is it important? Because it's a plan put together by an African for Africans.
Okay.
Yeah? In other words, to use the common parlance, for Black people.
Yeah.
But actually, we're Africans. Actually.
Yeah.
We may be, some of us may be born in the Caribbean, or the Americas, or indeed here in Europe, okay? But we maintain our identity, as I discussed earlier on, about identity, history, lack of history, knowledge of history, upsets understanding of identity. There's a correlation, important correlation. And, I know of Africans who've been here for generations. Okay? And in some cases might say they are English, Scotch, or Welsh.
Yeah.
In some cases even Irish, because they've been here for generations. That's actually true, by nationality, most certainly. But I think it's easy to identify them of being of African heritage. Okay? And to be proud of our heritage.
Yeah.
Okay. But of course, what has happened in more recent time, and with the advent of, to use the correct term, Afriphobia, okay? And the Afriphobia, those who are not familiar with the terminology, it's those who dislike African peoples. An irrational behavior, but pervades many people in this part of Asia. Note, we're in Asia, okay? We're not in some other place of the world, we're actually in Asia right now, okay? And it's the propaganda that says this is a separate continent, separate from Asia. If you look at the map, the water that separates this island from mainland Europe, or Asia, isn't called an ocean. It's called the English Channel. Yeah, because it's a gouge in the earth, but the earth is the same tectonic plate.
The
Asian tectonic plate. It's a single landmass.
Okay.
In theory, you can walk from Paris to Beijing.
Yeah.
Single landmass. That landmass is actually called Asia.
Okay. All right.
you see, you have to go through that mental process. And I've got to tell you, I had to go through a similar mental process when reading the Tony Sewell report. I had to decongest myself of the propaganda that I've been taught in order to see some of the aspects of genius aspects that is embedded in that report. I know
people will be happy with
that. It's controversial. But I had to de-brainwash myself.
Yeah.
On purpose of this station is called the de-brainwashing station. I had to de-brainwash myself and see things for what they really are, and not what the propaganda creates around the image. Okay.
Yeah.
Really is important. Really is important. True. Okay. So Afriphobia is a political tool used by those who control Euro-Asians in this part to control the masses. So you must dislike any person with a different family.
Yeah.
And therefore you can commit war and genocide against them, take their wealth, but essentially for the small elites who sit at the very center of Euro-Asian societies, which includes Britain, which includes France, Germany, Spain, Italy, and so on. Now, that's actually the fact how it's taught to us is completely different. Yeah, it's completely distorted. And as I said, you've got to de-brainwash ourselves. That's why this station exists. Okay, so as I speak about the peoples, I'll speak them as they really are, and not what the propaganda suggests we should see them. Really important. Okay? So let's take that one stage further. So of course, the Rapid Africa Plan, and I will add the author here on the show shortly. Okay, it's designed to be part of the African industrial renaissance, as it were, rejuvenization, rebirth, if you like. Okay, really is important. But of course, as you'd expect with any great plan, okay, there are many who are backing against it. No, we can't do that. No, we need other people to do it for us. No, what this author will argue is that we can do it for ourselves. In fact, respectfully, we must do it for ourselves.
Yeah. It'll be more beneficial. Yeah.
It's, in fact, we have no choice. We have no choice. Because I know there are many people who coy with shy away from it. And, oh no, we can't do this. No, that might be considered to be a bit biased or whatever. And I say, well, look, I could go to anywhere in Britain and ask any Briton, do you want to stand on your own 2 feet?
Yeah.
If I could ask you the question, you work so hard. Do you want to stand on your own 2 feet?
Yes.
Say with affirmative.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
You understand your own 2 feet.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And benefit from your own hard work.
Yes.
Absolutely. That is the Rapid Africa Plan.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it in its essence. Yeah. That we stand on our own 2 feet. But it requires a commitment to our future and indeed our children's future. Yeah. So, in my little hat, I've got a 4-year cycle, political cycle. Here, we're discussing a plan that for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years is about growth, where we invest in ourselves.
Yeah.
As you see people contribute tithes to a church or donations to a mosque, we've got to do the same for economic revival.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah.
We should do that.
Clearly, you cannot suggest that we are amongst the nations of the world if we're not doing for ourselves. That is the Rapid Africa Plan. We need to give promotion to it. We need to encourage as many peoples, don't have to be African, mind you, to support it.
Yeah, no,
you just got to be committed and recognize it's good for the world, for Africa, economic revival is good for the world. It's good for Britain, If you're poor in Africa, you can't afford British goods.
Yeah.
Therefore, you can't buy it.
Yeah.
You see? So it's good for Britain to help Africa to industrialize. It's good for Britain.
More business, yeah.
Britain wants to sell to China because the Chinese are now becoming wealthier. They can now afford British goods.
Yeah. They're doing a lot. Yeah.
It makes sense, doesn't it? So it's good for Britain. It's good for Europe if Europe helps Africa to industrialize. And I don't mean donations, and I don't mean the aid. What I mean is genuine capital investment, supporting African businesses. It makes sense, doesn't it? It's good for Europe. Yeah. If the Africans can't afford to buy the products and services Europeans produce, Europe is poorer for it.
It makes sense to trade more money both ways.
To allow Africa, those parts of Africa to remain impoverished is bad for Britain. It's bad for Europe. It's bad for America. It's most certainly bad for China and so on and so on.
Yeah.
Chinese industrialization has given a fillip to promoting economic growth around the world. Yeah? They now have the second largest economy, okay? And they are buying products and services produced by Britain, Europe, America in their tens of billions, hundreds of billions every year, and creating enormous numbers of jobs in Britain, Europe, and America. Enormous numbers, millions of jobs are dependent upon the Chinese consumers buying those products and services.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the number of jobs that will be created if the
know.
world
Yeah.
helped Africa to industrialize?
Yeah.
Wow. You know?
So many. Yeah.
You see, it doesn't take that. It doesn't take that long to figure it out. You know. So the impediment that many Eurasians have is this Afriphobia has become an integral part of their culture. I always say, start from the monarch here. You know. For the monarch to exclude themselves from the Equalities Act, I think sends the wrong signal to the rest of British society.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah?
Of course.
That way it begins. And that's where the Afriphobia clearly begins. And that's what's got to change here in this country.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That has got to change. If this country wants to remain a significant industrial power into the next century. Okay. Because Britain's industrial decline is notable, since the war. From an industrial point of view, its position in the world has been declining. To arrest it requires new leadership, new way of thinking, a new relationship, positive relationships with the rest of the world, and most certainly with Africa. Because technically, Britain has certain advantages, but with Afriphobia, those advantages will be withered away. Okay, you cannot assume you're going to dominate. We're now discussing equal relationships. Yeah, where partners, there's not a dominant or subservient role. Partners ensures that both parties are able to create wealth that is mutually beneficial themselves.
And hopefully it can get like that. Yeah.
And that makes sense in most quarters. I know in some quarters will be an anathema because they want to think in terms of domination, but that ain't going to happen anymore.
I hope not. Yeah.
New way of thinking, you know.
Yeah.
If you want to promote Britain, you could promote Britain as being a country that invests, promotes trade, between it and its trading partners, And Africa is crying out for capital, and to give capital, and I mean investment capital to Africa, can only benefit the average British worker, and most certainly benefit the elites here. The wealth that could be created is enormous.
Yeah. Definitely.
So it's a different way of thinking, but it requires this country to go through a transformation.
Yeah.
Because still too many government institutions are identified as being either institutionally racist, or as other anti-social characteristics. So it's an interesting one. Can British society make that transformation, or will they have a step up on this? There you go. I'm not change. I'm not going to change. No. And simply lord over their own industrial decline.
Yeah. I feel like they're doing that now. Yeah.
We need transformation here in Britain, but I believe Britain has tremendous potential for change. As Anthony Brown of the Windrush campaign would have said, he has great hope for Britain. And when they see unfairness, the average Briton speaks out. I would like them to speak out more often, mind you, and louder. But I've got no reason to disbelieve him. He's a passionate. He passionately believes in the prospect for this country, and I'm not going to contradict him. I'm only going to say I'd like it to happen today.
Yeah, today would be nice.
Today would be nice. Okay. Anyway, let's return to the Rapid Africa plan. And I think that's an important one.
Yeah.
And I believe we just need to get our heads around its implications. Okay. And I think we'll be inviting shortly. He said he's going to be
A little late. Yeah.
Professor Hannington Mubawa, okay, who is the author of the Rapid Africa plan, okay, to speak to this plan. Okay, we want to better understand it so we can take ownership of the plan, because it's a blueprint for economic regeneration across the continent of Africa. Okay? And it's such people with big ambitions that I love having on this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we want. People with ambition, people with a visionary zeal, and able to argue articulately that position so that it might influence others. Okay. And I want to ensure that at the end of the interview, so he's going to be a few minutes late, that he's able to inspire those people who are listening and those who are listening to the recording of this show to think again about where to invest their capital, to think again as to where, once they've been fully trained in a profession, where to practice that profession, to think again where to put their savings. Because honestly, if we could make this project work, this proposal work, in 10, 20, 30 years' time, the transformation of that continent will be tremendous and will be worth many trillions of pounds worldwide, in worldwide trade. Okay? Many trillions of pounds. Not millions or billions, but trillions of pounds. Okay? It's envisaged, in fact, it is good knowledge that Africa has the youngest population of the world, you know? They are ripe for investment. Okay. And, you know, young people like yourself, to be able to go to and invest in Africa, I believe would be transformational.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Britain needs you, don't misunderstand me. But you know what? Britain would benefit if young people like yourself were able to go to Africa for employment or for entrepreneurship, to build business.
Yeah.
Britain would benefit because you have a spiritual link to Britain, don't you? Yeah. And you're familiar with this country, therefore it's easy for you to interface between the two.
Definitely. Yeah.
You are Britain's golden nugget, as it were.
Okay.
Do you see?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And that's, again, it's about this alternative way of looking at the future. Remember, the glass is half full. It is not half empty. Yeah. Okay. Therefore, your potential and potential many young people listening to this show today is enormous, absolutely enormous. So I'd like to encourage them, really encourage you to think about what you're doing. What are your plans? That is involved visiting, at the very least, Africa. Visiting Africa at the very least would be a good thing, you know? So, you know, I want to positively encourage it. And I know the professor, when he joins us, want to encourage it as well. I see we have a call on the line, 9034. Good morning.
Yeah, Grand Rising, the motivator.
Oh, Grand Risings to you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's Brother Akram, as you know.
Yes. Thank you for the call. You're a bit early, but it's good. Well, how would you like to contribute to the show this morning?
Well, as you know, I mean, I'm very much agree with you that Africa is the I call it the new frontier.
Yes.
Okay, and I've been trying to tell people for many years, right? You know, let us look at Africa for our development.
Yes.
Right, and everybody keeps beating me down. Okay, as I said to you, I've been in Africa for some time. In Tanzania some time ago. I mean, okay, about 5 years ago, I closed the factory. But I had one of the biggest factory of block making in Tanzania.
Wonderful.
Okay,
wonderful.
Right, I had the biggest, the best. But as I said, that teach me what we are up against, because we are up against some mighty forces, right? And my take going into Africa was that I needed to create the biggest business the world has ever seen. I realized it was difficult to try to do it on my own. And I came out here and I'm trying to tell people, you know, we need to, like what you're saying there, the Rapid African Plan, you know, we need to pull ourselves together and we need to create the biggest business the world has ever seen. Bigger than Tata, bigger than Walmart, bigger than that company in China, right? And we have the ability to do it. But one of the things is, I come to realize all people seem to be afraid. They're frightened. Whenever I talk that, you know, it's like they're afraid that of bigness, that we can become as big as we want to be. And I keep trying to ask myself, why? You know, I have a plan, right? So that if I can get 2,000 people, 2,000 conscious people, right? Putting 50 pounds a month, 50 pounds a month, 2,000 of us. That's 100,000 every month. Within 1 year, that's 1.2 million pounds. I'm asking people, are you saying that we cannot do anything with it?
We most certainly can.
Yeah.
We most certainly can. Yes.
No, I want to give you an idea. Everybody's talking about investing in houses here. Okay, and I want to show you something. And please tell me whether I'm stupid or what. Okay?
You are not stupid. Before you told us, I can tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, you are not stupid. But continue.
Right? Okay. Now, if because I asked my engineering friend, because I have a friend who is engineer. I asked him, what would it cost to build a 10-bedroom hotel, okay, in Africa, 10 bedroom? He said approximately $200,000, right? Approximately $200,000, which is about 170 pounds, 170,000 pounds, yeah?
Yep. Okay.
Okay. Now here, you can buy a property up north for 170,000 pounds. You rent it out, you get about 8,000 pounds a year back. You can build with that same hotel, with the same money, 170,000 pounds, you can build a 10-bedroom hotel in Africa.
Yeah.
Charging $25 a night. $25 a night. If you have it full for 25 weeks in the year, that will give you 44,000 pounds. I mean, $44,000. Sorry, I'm mixing the dollars and the pounds.
Yeah.
Which is about 30. Right, which gives you about 30.
Don't worry, we've got it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Which is about 33,000 pounds. Okay, right. Which is greater, investing that same 160,000 here, or investing it in Africa? Which gives you the better return?
If I may say so, Brother Akram, you are 100% correct. But remember, and you may have heard that I said this earlier on, remember, it's a psychology. We need to take control of the psychology. Yeah, because the propaganda that many of our people have been exposed to all of their lives suggests that to make that investment in Africa is not a safe investment as to invest it here in Britain. So that's the propaganda, yeah, to create uncertainty in the minds of those who might invest. But I note that the big investors are investing in Africa right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And let me put something on the icing of the cake. The World Bank or the world, whoever they are, they look at Africa, and they said in the next 30 years, Africa will have an economy of $30 trillion. No area at the moment. America is not $30 trillion. China is not $30 trillion. Europe does not have an economy of $30 trillion. But yet still they are looking that Africa will have an economy of $30 trillion. From $5 trillion
hold on, Brother Akram, let me say it loud. Africa, for the next 30 years, will have an economy worth more than $30 trillion. Yeah, that's what the current predictions are. Yeah, go ahead, Brother Akram. I did want to say it loud so it's clearly heard by all and sundry. Continue, Brother Akram.
Yeah, that is what they said. Okay. Now, do we want to be a part of that? Do we want to have some of that, or we don't? Because, as I said, everybody talk about their American dream. Here's a land where you can dream as big as you want, bigger than the American dream, bigger than the Chinese dream, bigger than any European dream.
Go on.
And yet still we're afraid. And the people are telling me I cannot get 2,000 of us who are conscious Pan-Africanists who say that they love Africa to put 50 pounds into a pool so that we can start this venture.
So, Brother Akram, as you may know, we've got a guest coming on today, the author of the Rapid Africa Plan. Okay, and you must probably know him, Professor Hannington.
I've heard his name. Yes, I think we spoke.
Good. He'll be joining us shortly. I just received a message. He'll be joining us shortly. He's been delayed for other reasons. Now, and I want you to listen keenly, because one of the reasons for this show is that inspired people such as yourselves find each other in the mist. Yeah. So I want you to stay on the line. So he'll be joining us shortly. But I want to hear for the very first time, two inspired human beings come together and speak together for the first time. And, these are always magical moments. Forgive me for saying this, it's when two lovers meet each other for the very first time. And you know that you're in perfect synchrony, yeah? Yep, you're both in perfect sync. And you say, yeah. We're together and we're going to work together for a common good. And from our union, only good can come from it. Love and goodness can come from it. Yeah. So I want you, Brother Akram, because you sound like this professor. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
You sound like this professor. And
as I said to you, motivator. Look, I've been in Africa now for nearly 30 years, and as I said, I see the growth of Africa taking place, right? When I went there, it was like virgin territory. I put me in the mind of my country in the Caribbean when I leave there back in the early 60s, right? When it starts developing. And I've been saying to people all along, because I was very fortunate, one of the very fortunate people to go back to my country very early days after I came here. I came here in 65. I went back 7 years later, And when I went back 7 years later, I saw people that I went to school with on their way to being millionaires.
Yes.
Okay?
Wow.
Right? Why were they able to be in that direction? Because they stayed there. They were there while the transformation of the country was taking place. And they were able to take advantage of that. Right? So I'm always telling people, that's what I want to see with Africa.
Yes.
That's why I told my brother-in-law, when he finished university, go back. And that's what he did. When he finished university, the first thing he did, he applied for a job from a company working there. They actually paid for his passage to go back there, right? With all of his luggage and whatever he had, they paid for all of that to go back there. When he get back there, they gave him a brand new Toyota Prado, right? All the fuel paid for. That means he had to pay nothing for the fuel, nothing, right? He had all medical care, all of his medical care, and his family, his mother, father, can be paid for. That is Africa. That is Africa growing.
Absolutely.
People don't realize the potential of what is there in Africa. You know, and
so
my wife.
If I may, then I'm just conscious of your time. So I think it would be fair for you to explain to people, because you're in Tanzania, what is it like to take that initial step? You know, how should they prepare themselves to take that initial step?
Well, as I said, because of what we were doing, I learned that being a single person trying to do something is not good for Africa. We cannot do that. You need a team of people.
Excellent.
You need a team of people that when one person goes out, somebody's still there on the ground, right? And as you know, so therefore, a team of people can make it work. I've been saying that for years. You don't go by yourself. You go in groups of people, 10, 20, 30 of you, in order to work on a project.
Yes. Perfect. And then,
right?
So my second question then about Akram, and thank you for that, but that's perfect, because that sounds like the Rapid Africa plan, you see. So I'm going to keep diverting you back to that. The second stage, of course, you go there as a team with different skills which complement each other, okay, with a project in mind. What about working with local people? How important is it to work with local people to develop your enterprise? How important is that?
Well, the fact is that there's no shortage of skills in Africa. The only thing, as I said, sometimes they don't have, like you call somebody in the house to do something. Many times they don't have the finishing skill, like what you have here. You know, they can do it, but that training. So, as I said, you don't have a problem of workers, and they're very good, very skillful. Some of them they don't even go to, but they're inventors and all of those sorts of things. So you have those people there. All you need is somebody to be over them, to be making sure that they are, they are crossing the eyes, doing the dots, whatever it is. That is it. But the workers, there is no problem for workers.
Okay, so
I remember when I was building my house, before the sun up, there was at least 30, 40 people outside waiting, and to see if there was going to be getting a job that day from the contractor.
Okay.
And they work all day until sundown.
I hear you.
You understand? Right?
Yeah. But Brother Akram, what about the government? Is the government actively encouraging Africans in the diaspora, as it were, to come back to Africa, or indeed, in this case, Tanzania? Are there particular schemes designed to help people to invest and indeed move to Tanzania in this case?
Well, most certainly, Tanzania government is, and I know Kenya government, they're inviting people. I mean, most African countries, well, at least I know Tanzania and Kenya, they're very much doing that. I mean, Tanzania is in causing, as I said, Tanzania, from time I went there, Tanzania, as people should know, is bigger than Nigeria. Tanzania, I think, has got the second largest gold reserve. Tanzania, the potential of Tanzania can actually rival Nigeria.
Yes.
Actually, okay. And it has one of the largest population in Africa. About the 5th or 6th largest population, right? So there's an awful lot of growth, room for growth there. And one of the things that I noticed in Tanzania, because as I said, that's why I went into the black factory, because many of the places like in the city, just like here in the city, were built many years ago. And what I realized is as the city grows, most of those buildings has got to be torn down and be rebuilt. As people get money, and that is what is happening, people are breaking down those old houses and building up new ones, because you cannot have those old type of houses in the city, right? And that, I'm sure, is the same across the whole of Africa. As Africa is growing, I mean, this is something that is needed. We need the B and Qs, we need those, all those sorts of things, because these are things in order for the growth of Africa. So, and that's why I went down the road.
If I may ask another question. This is really for the young people, and I know that Lady Chelsea Bob might be saying this to you. Often people are concerned about their personal safety. Okay. How safe is it in Tanzania?
Well, okay. I'll give you one example. I mean, about 10 years ago, a lot of my, there was about 6 guys from here, from Jamaica, came down with me. And we were driving around, and there was this white lady out in the bush walking by herself. So we asked her, are you not afraid? She said, what, in Tanzania? That was her answer to us.
Okay.
You understand? That's how
I hear you. I hear you. And that's really because there's so many young people here who potentially could at least visit Tanzania, if only on holiday, are nervous because of the propaganda that they see in the media here. And that's the barrier, the propaganda, I said earlier on, I've got to de-brainwash myself. The whole purpose of the station is to de-brainwash, okay? It's difficult to overcome it, and you have to have a certain mindset. I'm a bit arrogant and a bit pushy and so on. So, but far too many people are, just want to get along, go along to get along, you see, and don't want to upset the bottle cart. And I understand that. So it's up to us, to give them the encouragement, to make it really easy for them to make that travel to Africa, and in this case, Tanzania. And I'd love, one of my ambitions, I don't mind telling you this on live radio, for Lady Chelsea to say, I'm going to visit Africa shortly. I'll say, really? Yeah. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
It's a goal.
It's a holiday. It could be only for a few days holiday, just so that you can put your feet on the continent, okay? And finally reconnect after tens of generations of separation, reconnect to the continent once more. And that in itself will be a psychological transformation, uplift, a spiritual uplift, and would most certainly promote the confidence, I believe, Brother Akram, you're seeking for many of us over here to visit Africa, indeed, to invest in Africa.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, I'm completely with you. I'm completely with you. And if Lady Chelsea and others in a friend circle were ever to say that to me, I would help them financially to do this. That commitment I can give to you. I'll help you financially to make that, if only for holiday, only for a few days, I'll help you financially. Yeah? Okay. And I make that commitment right here in public radio. Yeah?
Record this.
Transmitted via digital radio, Facebook and YouTube, the Motivated Show. Yeah? That's the whole purpose of the show. Huh?
Okay. Yeah.
That's the whole purpose. There you go. Brother Akram, go. Now, our guests seem to have been somewhat delayed. So this is impromptu, okay? So what I'm going to do, Lady Cho, so I'm going to just give out the telephone number again.
Okay.
I'm going to encourage those who are listening and might be inspired by what Brother Akram has said, to come in and just have a further discussion about the potential of, if only go to Africa for a holiday or indeed with the intention to invest. So before I continue, I'll give out the telephone number. So it's 0203 481 5240. And the PIN number, you'll be asked to enter PIN number 3707 33 4397, followed by the ash sign, the vertical and horizontal lines, and you'll be able to see us and see the number on YouTube and Facebook under the Demotivator Show. Okay. So, Brother Akram, over to you. Just tell how
one of the things that I'm trying to encourage all people from the diaspora to go back, to go into, okay? And again, it's the same thing. Because I have, members of the organization in the Gambia. And one of the things they're telling me, which I see in some places, is that we have these foreign forces who are coming in and dominating the market, especially in supermarkets and so forth, where people go to buy their goods. And so I asked myself, well, okay, do we have all of these diasporans going back to Africa? Why don't they pool their resources together? The same like I'm asking about the $50. I mean, I'm saying all those diasporans going back, are they not able to afford $50 a month into a pool? And I'm sure you have 1,000 of them in Gambia, maybe more. And then create that situation where, that doesn't stop them from doing the other things that they're doing, but create a pool that is there for everybody. That, that money is invested in things like those supermarkets that will close down those Lebanese. I just tell people, we don't have to fight nobody. We don't have to go to the war with nobody. All we have to do is develop our economic strength in Africa. Come together, right? So the shops on this right side, they belong to us. The ones on the other side belongs to those other people. If all the shops on the right-hand side, we know that all it belongs to us, why would we want to go and shop on the other side of the street where it belongs to other people?
Brother Akram, can you pause for a second? I'm gonna encourage Lady Chelsea, who sits there studiously, listening, absorbing, but I know she's full of questions. Okay, I'm now going to try and encourage her to ask a question of you.
Yeah, so I did have one question. I just want to know that if I or anyone else really had a project in mind, we wanted to invest in anywhere in Africa, what type of businesses would kind of be most beneficial to start?
Well, as I said, one of the areas which I was looking at is in the building, because Africa is to be built. Africa to be built for the next 100 years, trying to get it like London and other places. I mean, that means one talking about the development where every person have their home, have a proper home and everything. If they have the ability to go in with cheap, affordable housing, that would be one of the great aspects of development, right? Because Africa is to be built. There is no. It's unlimited. Anything that you see here that you can be doing it in Africa because it's needed, right? Anything you're doing. As I said, there were several areas that I wanted to look at when I went to Africa. One of the things I realized is Africa did not have a problem with food. Food, I traveled from Dar es Salaam to Nairobi, and basically on either side of the road, that's 900 kilometers, there was food.
Okay.
So the problem is Africa is not food, right? And I remember going on safari, and the guy said to me, look, on the other side of that mountain over there, there was so much food, but the people cannot get it to the market. And sometimes they have to burn it in order to provide for the next year, because they have no way to store it and other things like that. So they have to burn the crop. Okay.
Okay.
So one of the areas which I'm saying to our people, and this is something that I learned from my country, right, is that what the government in my country used to do is they would because one of the problems that Africa is having is a lot of our youngsters who are coming up now in the families are leaving the homes and going to the towns. So they're not there on the farms anymore. So the strength in the farm is gone, because the older people now, they're older, they're not as strong, they can't work the farm as well as they used to, right? And they don't have the kind of money to invest in machinery to do that.
Yeah.
So to me, one of the ideas would be that if we went to Africa as a good team and we have the tractors, we can get the tractors and so forth, we can come to the people and say, look, we will plow the land for you. You don't even have to go and get land for yourself. We will plow the land for you, right? And then we will also, when the crop is reaped, then you can pay us for allowing us to use for the use of our tractor. We can also create the situation where we look for markets to market these people's goods, right?
Yeah.
So at the same time, you're developing a whole big consortium, because what you're doing is, as I said, one, you will plow the land for the people. Secondly, you will take their goods and then you will market it for them, because they want somebody to market their goods. So you have a team of people who is looking for markets. Look, where can we sell these onions? Where can we sell these tomatoes? I mean, right now I'm hearing people saying tomatoes are being imported into Nigeria. This is imported into these places. And when Africa has such vast land, why are you importing things from Holland?
Crazy.
Why are you importing food from Holland to come to Africa?
Makes sense.
Crazy.
Right? So if we develop that situation where we are the ones who being able to take the food from one place and transform it to another place, Africa does not have a problem with food.
I completely agree with you. Wow. You've just demonstrated a series of common sense strategies. But I'm going to give out the number. I'm going to give out the number. And I want to ensure that we have real interaction. I'm sorry that our guest, who is apparently still experiencing some difficulty, I've just received another message, but Akram, you are the professor today. Okay? So I'm going to give out the number and encourage, or in fact, if I can ask Lady Chelsea, give out the number.
That's fine. Okay, so the number is 0203 481 5240. Then you'll be asked for the PIN number, which is 370 733 4397, followed by the hash key sign.
Brilliant. Now that's the number. The phone lines are now open. Let's continue from our discussion with Brother Akram from Tanzania. And if the professor turns up, he will want to talk about Malawi, I understand. And I'm also conscious that we had an earlier show on Sudan, potential in Sudan. So the potential across the continent is so incredible. But Lady Chelsea, you're the future. Okay, so look, I can ask many questions. Come on, you ask Brother Akram your questions. You are the future. Go ahead.
What kind of difficulties, I don't know if they're like legal or I don't know, money wise, would someone have who wants to invest in Africa or Tanzania?
What sort of money? You
Or
said
like
you will,
difficulties in any way? So like, there's no legally or what, like if I wanted to buy land or start, what kind of difficulties could I face?
unfortunately, as I said, one of the problem is that in order for many African countries to protect themselves, what they did was, especially like in Tanzania and some of the other countries, they have people from foreign, because they just put it foreigners, cannot own land in Africa.
Okay.
Okay. So what my wife explained to me, how these Muzungus, these people get around these things. They form a company, okay? Because one of the things is that they welcome companies. I mean, they don't sell you the land like freehold in Africa. You can lease the land. Okay. You go to the Tanzania investment company. You said, look, I want to do farming or whatever. I need land for this and whatever. And they can allocate your land if you want to do so. Example, the factory which I had was on about 5 acres of land. The block factory I had. Yeah. And as I said, because of the problems that I encountered, and as I said, those encountering problems was because it was one of the best companies, and one of the things with these Europeans or these other people, they don't want you to be up there at their level. So therefore, they will try to bribe some of the government officials or whatever in order to keep you down. Okay. Or what they will do is, because I said, like the factory that I had, supplying people with blocks, when it comes time to be paying you back your money, you know, I mean, you make the blocks, at the end of the month they're supposed to pay you. They don't do, they hold back the money. So it stifles your growth. You understand what I'm saying? Right? Yeah. That's where we need our contracting. When I was selling the land, I mean, because it was very valuable land, because when I put up the factory in that particular area, it's now become, I was the first person to put up a factory in that area, and now that area has become an industrial area. They've allocated that whole town to be an industrial town. And I was the one who put up the first factory there, and because of that factory, the whole town now is an industrial town. So when I was selling the land, so many people came, but they don't want to pay us the kind of money. The only ones that came and wanted to pay the money was Chinese. And, right? Yeah. But they didn't want the factory, all they wanted was the land, because the land was so strategic. But what I'm saying is, they bought the land from us, pay us the price that we want, but they have to go to the investment company, who will then appoint for them. Okay, we give you a lease, right? Okay, for X amount of time. You understand? You see? Yeah. So most things that you're doing, especially with land, has to go back to the Tanzania investment company, and then they will then decide to you, you know. But if you buy something from someone there, you're going to have to pay them what the price is, right? But the point is, you still have to go back to the Tanzanian investment company in order to endorse that that the land is now yours, being transferred from that person to you, to them, and they will then give you their terms and conditions. So you understand what I'm saying? That is how it's done. Yeah. Okay. But you can, as I said, you can get land for working, but you're not able to. But you're basically get it through a company rather than as an individual, because foreigners cannot own, is not supposed to be able to own land there.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Chelsea, so that's I must say, I wouldn't. I'm aware of some of the rules, and I'm aware that you're right, that a foreign individual cannot own land, well, unless it's been gifted to you by a traditional leader. That much I do understand. I know that companies are what are respected. So now you've formed a company. So what are the challenges in forming a local company? Is it required, for example, but from that, the share ownership of that company should have at least 10% or 50% local ownership? Is that true for?
Well, that is basically the case. I mean, when you create a company, somebody from that country be part of the shareholder of that company. Yes.
Is it 10% or 50%? I can't recall.
I'm not quite sure what the percentage is, but you must have somebody, somebody or some company from there to be involved with that company.
I understand you. And another one for Lady Chelsea, in terms of the investment capital, so interbank connections, are the banks that we recognise here in London in Tanzania, and what is the local banking system like? Is it secure? Is it one we could trust our money in, and so on? Because these are the questions that young people keep asking me. You see, they're always uncertain. It's that uncertainty, which is the propaganda that we've all been taught. So tell us about the banking system in Tanzania. How does it work? Is it robust? Is it well regulated, and so on?
Well, yeah, the banks are very well regulated, and there are so many banks. I mean, banks are opening up like nobody's business. And I remember looking at an article, because I normally save things like this, and unfortunately, I did not save that particular article. And this was about 15, 18 years ago, and it says that within the next generation, that Africa will have a banking system greater than that of UK and Europe. So banks are coming up all the time, and but as I said, the banks are safe. I mean, the fact is there is no problem within the bank. A bank is a bank. I mean, they work in the system of what banks have worked with. So they are okay. I mean, you can pick out which bank you want, whether you want to work with Barclays, Stanbic Bank, or if you want to go more international, or if you want to go to the Exim banks and so forth, which is more local. But you do have they're safe places.
Okay.
Lady Chelsea, another question from you. Now that at least you can transfer your money safely. What other question would a young person be? Because interesting, the questions you've asked are all around security. I noticed, you see. I
didn't realise.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
So if you were to consider the movements, so you would know about the companies in terms of the securing local interest in the company. We have got some appreciation of the banking system. Okay. I suppose it might be a question around the regulatory regime, traveling around the country and so on. You may want to ask a question around that, possibly, but it's
okay. What you just said. I'm not sure if I asked this before. Sorry, my brain is kind of gone. Was there any legal aspects should young people, anyone investing, be aware of? So it could be, as Dimove said, traveling around the country, having, I don't know, can you build franchises, multiple factories, stuff like that? What are the legal implications I would have to think about?
Well, okay. As I said, there are forces there that try to work to curb other people. I mean, not only us, because I remember my brother telling me that there was some people trying to do a pharmaceutical thing, and even their own Indians was fighting against them to even try to do that.
Is that other companies or government? Who are these people?
No, I mean, as I said, as I'm saying to you, you have, we're dealing in hundreds and thousands. These other people are dealing in millions and billions, okay? And those people with millions and billions, they're happy to see you have a stall. But when you're trying to compete at their level,
Okay.
They
Yeah.
will give you problems. They'll find ways to give you problems, and sometimes they bribe certain people in government or other people to try to sabotage what you're doing.
Mm.
And that is the only problem. That's why I'm saying we need the teams to work with rather than
By
and
yourself.
basically due diligence needs to be taken, because when you're going to do whatever, you need to investigate, and especially, as I said, the Tanzanian investment company is there for one to go and investigate, because sometimes you get information from people and it doesn't always carry through. Okay. And one of the things that I did, because of my family is from there, and when we set up the factory, we put everything in place. The people around the place is saying, "Ma'am, when are you going to finish this thing? We want to work. We want to work for you, because we're working for these Indians and other people. They don't treat us right, and so forth, and things like that. So what I'm saying is that the factory is due diligence is important. And as I said, when we put the factory up, we put everything in place. Then now we want the license, because we was not thinking that it would be a problem. But the man who was in charge in that area to give us the license kept running us around, like, So it took me nearly 2 to 3 months in order to get the license. So this is what I'm saying. Okay. Before you do anything, do everything first, because as I said, had we done that in the beginning, to be sure that we're going to get the license, because we never thought it would be a problem, because as I said, my wife is Tanzanian and the other shareholders were Tanzanian, so we didn't expect that would be a problem.
Okay.
Right. So what I'm saying is, make sure that all the questions are put forward, or get all the answers that is needed before one does anything. Then, and as I said, that's where you go to the Tanzanian Investment Center. You can even check them here online and get those information. Whether you go to any country there, Malawi, again, Malawi is a beautiful place. It's the first country that I ever been to in Africa, right? And all these places, very nice place, Malawi, very peaceful. You never hear anything about it, because the people are so nice and so peaceful, right?
I hear you, and the professor just made contact. He's he will work with us shortly. He recognises he's late, but it is fine. It is fine. It is fine. Well, what's important is that yourself and Professor Hannington need to have a word together live on the Motivator Show, because bringing you both together, men of like minds, together, means that we've just moved the Africa Investment Project, Industrial Renewal Project forward by one step, And if we've made a small contribution to that step, then these few minutes today, this morning, has been worthwhile. But he said he'd be joining us shortly. It explained why it delayed, but it's for a good reason, I might add. It is for a very, very good reason. But you know what? Fine. It means that the spirits are working with us. The ancestors are working with us. It is good. And the fact that Brother Akram is here, wow. And I believe you and I, Lady Chelsea, have learned something from Brother Akram.
Yes. No, definitely.
And it's important that this particular saying holds true in this situation. Success is 9/10 of preparation. Yeah. So preparation. Yeah. Must prepare before you jump. Some people just jump anywhere, and just fly by the seat of their pants, and it works for them.
Yeah.
But for the vast majority of us, preparation, study, prepare, test, and then you can implement with confidence thereafter, So test out the ground, test out your what you believe you've learned to make sure it's robust, And what Brother Hakfam is sharing with us is a lifetime experience, and it's experience easily supersedes qualifications.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been through the circles, he understood what the challenges are, and he is, without hesitation, because he's an elder, without hesitation, is sharing his experience with us all. Okay.
Yeah.
And hoping that young people, and indeed a few middle-aged people, are listening and will be courageous enough to overcome the negative propaganda, the Afrophobia that ocean that we live in, okay?
Yeah.
To overcome that and be able to say, well, look, you know what? It's worth visiting the continent. It cannot all be bad.
Exactly.
An entire continent cannot all be bad.
Yeah.
And these big corporations would not be investing in that continent if it was all bad.
Yeah, there's nothing there. Yeah.
Can I say something here?
Of course.
You know, because this is something that that touches me very deeply. Because as I said, what happened is that over 25 years ago, I was in America, and my cousin pointed me out to a book which is called an almanac. You know, an almanac which gives it's not an almanac like growth almanac. It's an almanac for the country. I mean, Britain has one, America has one, which gives you all the information of what is taking place within America. What this who is the president, who is in charge, who is the counselor in this place, what is the investment, and all of those sort of things. But in that almanac, there's a section for foreign countries. That means all the countries in the world. And it gives you the population, the size of the country, how many cars they have, what is the industries, what how they're developing, and so on and so forth. So I've been getting it religiously every year. So that is why I have such knowledge of what is taking place in the world, the different countries, and what is happening with these different countries. Right?
And can you repeat the name of the almanac, please? Can you repeat the name of the publication?
It's called the World Almanac. It's World Almanac. If you go on Amazon, you get it. It's about $11, $13. Okay. Right? It's called the World Almanac.
Got that.
And okay. But as I said, they do one here in Britain, but the one here in Britain which breaks down, what Bermondsey is doing, who is doing what every council is doing, and what every borough is doing, that sort of thing. You can get it, and it tells you what they have done this year, what they, what was the budget, what they do, and so forth. But it's a very comprehensive book. I mean, it's very knowledgeable. You get a lot of information in those. And so as I said, I get that book religiously for some years. I think that might be your guess. Yeah?
Now, I believe we might finally have the professor coming in. Finally, and I'll let him explain. Okay.
Yeah,
it's fine. It's absolutely fine, because you've been extremely. Oh, I think he's trying to contact me. If you ask Barak Rachel, continue talking. I'm just going to take care of the professor.
Okay. Okay. Question. I just want to know, why did you end up having to sell the factory? Was it due to other companies' pressure, or was it just you didn't?
No. What happened is, as I said to you, when I bought the factory, I had certain amount of money put aside for the running of the factory. I mean, for the running, that means for the stock. Okay. But because we were prevented from trading at the very beginning, getting the license, we had to wait 3 months to do that. It then put me in a very, very difficult situation.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And it was very difficult to struggling to get up ever since, because what happened is people would want blocks, and then I have to when they come to a block, instead of me having the stock there that they can just go and take, I would have to say to them, well, if you want me to make the blocks, you'd have to give me a certain amount of money, and then I'll make the blocks, and then, at the end of it, then you pay me. That's because they don't want to always pay beforehand.
Yes.
And that became very difficult. And as I said, the problem is that when it came time to pay, so that I can continue to make more blocks, they withheld that money. So it really put me in a very, very difficult situation.
Okay.
Right? I mean, had I had all the blocks there as I wanted, that when they want blocks, they could come and just buy it, then I would not have gotten into that sort of problem.
Yeah.
But because I had to depend on them and wait for their money, then it becomes a problem. So, and I had a mortgage, I had payments to pay back. So it was becoming difficult. So that's why I sold it.
Okay.
Well, can I just ask you just to pause for a moment? I believe we now have the professor with us. Professor Hannington, can you hear us all right?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Well, finally that you were able to join us. I know you had a good reason why you've been delayed, so that's fine. Unfortunately, we only now have 5 minutes.
Okay, that's okay.
So what I'm going to do, if I may, I'm going to hand you over to my colleague, Lady Chelsea. There were a few questions she had for you, but with 5 minutes, what we might do, and with your agreement, Professor, is to continue to interview next week. But we've got 2 key questions, and the latter questions, Lady Chelsea, that we wanted to put to you. Okay, but the very first question, you might just want to just tell us a bit about yourself. This is what the Lady Chelsea will ask you first of all, and then the last question we'll then want to put to you. Lady Chelsea, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So, hi. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
You're welcome. As the first question was, sorry, so I don't know if you want to quickly explain the Rapid African plan, just briefly, just so the audience knows what it is.
Okay, thank you very much. So first of all, I spent 5 years studying what is wrong with Africa and what can be done to fix it, and I realized I didn't have a plan. So I studied full-time for 5 years, and within 7 years, I designed a plan to transform Africa. This is a 40-year transformational program that will uplift Africa from underdeveloped state to advanced state within 40 years. And it's very technical, it's very professional, and it's planned to sector level, to project sector level. Let's say agriculture. It's planned down to when you go to a country, to define the magnitude of the short-term projects, long-term, and then go and mobilize the capital. So it's said that we can go into a country and we can help them create the concept of the map and mobilize the funds. That's why we are here in Africa. The first thing we have to do is to mobilize, to create 5 pilot nations to apply the plan, quickly to, and Africanize it. And then within about 5 years, we can now do a complete rollout of the other nations. Okay. So that was the Rapid Africa plan. That's why I'm here, and that's why I was called and said, come right now and meet the advisor to the president. Okay. And that's why I couldn't attend. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's a good reason. That's fine.
Did you say that the president has called you of Malawi? Is that right?
The advisor to the president.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes, wow. Yes.
There you are. He was inspired by your plans. Huh?
Yes, everybody's inspired by the plan because, the plan is and I spend a lot of time. I come from an engineering background. So engineers will produce what they are asked to produce. And what we wanted was a transformational plan for Africa. And that's what I produced. And I used the principles that any other nation that has developed is used because the principles are identical. Thank you.
Absolutely. Now, I'm just conscious that we have very limited time, Professor, and I know that Lady Chelsea has got another question for you, but I wonder if it's possible for us to continue this interview, to have a part 2 next week, if you are available.
Yes, sure.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to now hand you over to Lady Chelsea. She has another question for you.
Yes, just quickly for you. Just want to know how could listeners or audience get in contact with Rapid African Plan? The website details, or do they contact, get involved?
I didn't get the question.
Oh, sorry. How could the audience or listeners be able to contact the Rapid African Plan, the website details or contact details they could have to get involved in research?
Okay. So the Rapid Africa Plan, we've got a website. It's called rapidafricaplan.org.
Okay.
And we also have a Facebook page, Rapid Africa Plan. We also have an Instagram page. And when you connect to the website, it has a place where you can join in and register and can be contacted. And also people can actually contact me directly, and then I can have a direct discussion with them to give them more confidence, and at the same time connect them to the board. Because we need people to be part of this. We need the leadership, and everybody's looking for it. We need to have this snowball effect that whoever you meet has got something. Let's work. Let's make it bigger. Let's make it faster, more efficient, and timely. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor, for that response to that question. We've also got another inspired African on the line who speaks just like you, Professor. We have a Brother Akram. Brother Akram, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here, yes.
Yes. Now, I know that you gentlemen have not met previously, okay? But Professor Brother Akram described his investment in Tanzania, in this case, and the challenges he's experienced in investing, but the rewards that he's experienced in investing in Tanzania. Okay, and I've got to tell you that he spoke just like you, right? Okay, so what I want to do is introduce you both, Brother Akram, Professor Harrington Mubare, and Brother Akram. Please introduce yourselves to each other. Brother Akram, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm grand rising to you, brother, Professor. As I said, for me, I consider myself a visionary, and I would like to get in touch with you if it's possible. I mean, we keep in contact to share our visions. I mean, because I have a lot of plans and ideas of what can be done in Africa, and so people like yourself, we really need to connect. And that is where I believe Africa can move forward.
Sure. Yeah, I was in Tanzania actually in December.
Right. Okay.
So,
as I said,
yeah. Let's continue. Brother Martin is going to give you my number, and we can contact. Where are you based?
Well, basically I live between Tanzania and the UK. At present, I was here taking care of my mother. My mother is passed now, so I'm just looking to get back to TZ. But because of all this pandemic and whatever problems, it's creating a bit of a problem at the moment. But I'm hoping to return soon, because as I said, I don't see any point being here, because to me, Africa is where everything is at. I mean, there's too much there to be done to be in these other places. I mean, that's what I see.
Yeah, I also just asked because they want to, we've run out of time. So I think if we can get the contact, then we can move on from there.
Excellent. I will most certainly ensure that you both have each other's contact details. And that was the purpose of this show, of course, Professor, that we bring people together of like minds, those who share the vision for Africa, those who have the energy to overcome the sort of negative propaganda and are able to set new ways, create new paths towards Africa, okay? And to see Africa, as I said to Lady Chelsea earlier on, as the golden nugget, as are the young people for whom we do this for, the golden nugget. And together, we can all make a difference.
Let me show you. I want to show you something, if I may.
Of course.
I want to show you something. So I don't know if can you see this, right?
Yes, the Riot Act, the African Master Reset. Yes.
Yes. A Third World Modernization Bible.
Uh-huh.
So this book I wrote it for the youth as a map for the next enterprise of Africa. It's when you study this, you know everything that you need to do to get it transformed. The only thing that is missing is the technical aspects of the plan.
Understood.
So me as the consultant, then I would go and with a team and help the nations do that. But I'm in the process of handing the technical aspect to somebody else, just in case something happens. So, and we're handing this to the youth on the Rapid Africa Plan Board. And the other thing I wanted to say is that, during the week, I want to invite a number of people that you can get together so that we can have a little bit of a more detailed approach to what the Rapid Africa Plan is. So when we do the show on Saturday, we have people that have a bit of an understanding of what it is, because time is moving, a sense of agency, and we are moving here too. And I see I'm beginning to make some progress over here. Thank you.
You say that there is an event here in the UK or online that?
No. I'm saying I would like you to. Okay, is it possible for you to organize a Zoom meeting with the Rapid Africa Plan with maybe about 10 or so of the listeners? The number doesn't matter. I would like to organize a Zoom meeting. It could be Wednesday. It could be Thursday. I think that's probably a very effective way of engaging the people because of the limited time that we're going to have on the Saturday.
Okay, fair enough. Absolutely. I will arrange that and with Lady Chelsea. So we will do that during the week for you. Okay?
Thank you.
We've only got a minute or so left. We only have a minute remaining now. So, Professor, I know you had good reason for being delayed this morning, but at least you and Brother Akram have finally interacted. Okay, so one of the purposes of the show has been achieved. Next time we meet, the meeting of minds, the momentum that we create will be even that much greater. It will be not much greater, and we want to work with you to ensure that the Rapid Africa Plan is fully implemented without fear or favor. We will implement it for our children's sake.
Yes. And it's timely that we have, entrepreneurs and business people that are there, and we want to create a team right now that can land in Malawi and say, look, we are here ready to support you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll let you go now, but thank you very much for at least joining us for those few moments. But those few moments have been our catalyst for change. I want to thank you on behalf of the community.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for all the work you've committed to. Thank you.
We're honored.
Thank you.
I'm honored. Thank you.
And Brother Akram, I want to thank you also for being a remarkable African. Okay. Okay. You've been out there for decades doing what needs to be done. Yeah. And you paved the way for others to follow. So I will cordially invite you to join us next week, because we'll have time, because there's much work we have to commit. Okay. Is that okay with you?
No, that's quite okay with me.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
But Akram, thank you for all that you have achieved during these decades. Thank you very much on behalf of the community. Okay. All right.
Awesome.
We're now in our last minute. Lady Chelsea, you may have a comment or two. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I want to thank both of you for coming on. It's really interesting. I've learned a lot from what you've, Brother Akram, has said, and some ideas about what to go forward. So thank you for that information.
Well, what we're doing is defying the Afrophobia, the negative impressions we have of our peoples, our continents, our history. Yeah. And what we're showing others is that we are change makers. We don't need other people to do this. All what the professor is doing is guiding us, showing us that we are the change makers. But we have to have the confidence, the determination, the vision to see it to come to pass.
Yes, sure.
So thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Now in the last few seconds, We will meet next week, and we
Yes.
will win. Let's say it
Yes,
loud.
we will
Yes,
win.
We
yes.
will
Yes.
win. Say it
In
loud,
Africa, we won. Yes.
unrelenting, without any
Thank
doubt.
you.
We
The
will
time is
win.
now.
We will win.
It's
Yes.
the time.
Yeah, Buster
It's
Fool.
the time. Thank you. Thank you
Good
very
night,
much.
everybody. Good day,
Goodbye.
everybody.
Good. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Stay strong. Stay strong. Lady Chelsea? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I feel alive. Huh?
Yes,
What a
definitely.
time to be
Definitely.
alive. Huh? What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
I am alive.
You are.
Oh, yeah.
We are.
Tell them. Huh?
Alive.
Hey. Let's
Yeah,
listen
thank
to the next presenter.
And you feel
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
alone,
Goodbye.
but hold on, better days are coming. It can be rough in this world. I know it ain't easy, but hang on.